Ideally, calling for help from the authorities as soon as possible. We don't encourage members of the public to try and get involved in the sense of putting their hands between the dogs or to trying to break them up, because there's a chance that the dog might redirect onto someone, and especially if you're a bystander who perhaps doesn't know those dogs either.
Fatal dog attacks in recent years have seen an alarming rise in numbers. A total of 39 people have lost their lives to dog attacks over the past decade in the UK, over half of which have taken place since the pandemic. According to veterinary charity PDSA in their 2023 poll report, 29% of UK adults have a dog, an estimated population of 11 million pet dogs. This is 2.1 million higher than 2018, when the population was 8.9 million dogs. The pandemic saw a boost in the number of pet dogs, and in the same space of time, dog attacks have also increased significantly. 10 deaths were reported last year, more than any other. This year, the number has already reached 5. Becky Weldon, Canine Behaviour Officer at Dogs Trust, explained one of the reasons for the rise in dog attacks could be attributed to the number of dogs not socialised during the pandemic.
And if we think about pandemic dogs, for example, who maybe didn't see many people, maybe didn't see many other dogs and weren't allowed to go out of the house as much, that lack of early socialization could be a contributing factor to why we're seeing a rise in dog related injuries, because perhaps they are more worried about different people, different dogs, new situations, because they lacked that early socialization. So it's a really important thing to try and help reduce the number of dog related injuries and try and reduce the number of dog bites.
Distressing CCTV footage shows an agitated dog bite and grab onto a passerby. Her partner was able to tackle the dog and remove it from the woman. The owner of the flustered dog did not have it on a lead and was left stunned by the situation. The man could be seen limping away from the dog after it had been placed under control by the owner. Becky Weldon gave advice on how to deal with situations where you or someone else has been bitten by a dog.
So, ideally, calling for help from the authorities as soon as possible. We don't encourage members of the public to try and get involved in the sense of putting their hands between the dogs or to trying to break them up, because there's a chance that the dog might redirect onto someone, and especially if you're a bystander who perhaps doesn't know those dogs either, you might be at more risk as well. So, in terms of the dog owner themselves, if they can try and call the dog away, click the dog back on lead, and distract them away from the incident, um, then leave that to the dog owners themselves. But again, we wouldn't encourage dog owners either to be getting their hands in between, say, a dog to dog fight or a dog to person incident.
Dogs are known for their loyalty, intelligence, and are known as a man's best friend. Becky Weldon describes signs and indications to watch out for when a dog feels threatened or agitated, to help calm them and prevent an incident from occurring.
So we have to look at their body language, and that's one of the ways that we're hoping we can prevent dog related incidents, so bites and aggressive behaviour, is by encouraging members of the public to watch the dog's behaviour. So, for example, dogs will show subtle behaviours that they're uncomfortable, such as putting their ears back, maybe showing the whites of their eye, moving away from something that they feel worried about, tucking their tail under. So, there's lots of advice on our website on how to read your dog's body language and see if they're nice and relaxed and comfortable, or if they're a little bit tense and potentially worried about something.
In May this year, police responding to reports of a dog attack were forced to destroy 2 Staffordshire bulldogs. The police were pursuing the owner, who had the dogs on leads. One of the dogs was shot as it went closer to the group of police officers, and the other as it attempted to reach its owner. The killings were branded barbaric online. Police say they were responding to reports of a woman being attacked by a dog. A spokesman for the Met Police said, "We are aware of the video being shared on social media showing part of an incident in Limehouse where 2 dogs were destroyed by police officers responding to a report of a woman being attacked." Officers attended the location where the aggressive behaviour of two dogs was of considerable concern and posed a significant threat to them. Both dogs were destroyed by police at the scene. This is never an easy decision for any officer to take, but police have a duty to act where necessary before any further injury is caused. There have been calls for certain breeds of dogs to be banned in order to decrease the number of incidents. In recent years, the American Bully, specifically its largest XL variant, has risen to infamy for its frequent involvement in fatal incidents. 8 out of the 21 attacks since 2020 came from this breed. Becky Weldon, however, said that the breed of dog is not to be blamed for incidents and an overhaul of the Dangerous Dog Act is needed.
So we want to overhaul the Dangerous Dogs Act, which is the current law that stands at the moment, and especially Section 1, where we've got the banned list of breeds. Dogs Trust doesn't think that this is currently fit for purpose, and that actually there's a lot more to dog related injuries than demonizing certain breeds. And research has actually shown that one breed is no more likely to show aggressive behavior than another breed, and it's actually about what we've talked about already. So watching the dog's body language and intervening early, all of that early socialization, that training that we've talked about, and also the genetics of the dogs. So breeding for desirable behavioral characteristics rather than breeding for the looks.
With many people buying or adopting pet dogs, it's vital to understand the needs and behaviour of dogs before making the decision to adopt. Vital points include the size of the dog and the cost associated with owning a pet. Becky Weldon highlighted what to look out for before making a decision.
Yeah, definitely. We encourage everyone to do their research before going out and getting a dog. So there's lots of advice on our website on all the different things that you can think about, but to name a few, thinking about the cost of owning a dog. So, for example, maybe a larger dog is going to cost potentially more than a smaller dog, but then by the same, all dogs you should get insured, but could be subject to vet bills that aren't covered by insurance too. So, either way, ensuring that cost is covered is a really important thing to think about, and I think can sometimes be overlooked.
Dogs are one of the most favourite pets in the UK. It's best to follow instructions to socialise your dogs early and watch out for your dog's behaviour to know when they're agitated to help calm them before an incident could occur, making sure they follow your command to call them back.